What's up, Bladers? Welcome back to another Beyblade Burst unboxing video. Today we got the Beyblade Burst Ultimate B-200 Xiphoid Xcalibur XN-SW-1. In addition, we also got the new power customized sword launcher. Now, Xcalibur has been long overdue for an evolution since the last time we had an Xcalibur Bay was Buster Xcalibur in the Shozy Lair system. And then the last time we had a sword launcher was in the God Lair system with Siege Xcalibur. Of course, it's an attack type, part of the Burst Dynamite Battle and Burst Ultimate Layer series, and it's right rotating. And here we got two modes for the Bay. So once again, it does feature the metal sword gimmick that was a staple with Siege Xcalibur, but it only pops out after 2 clicks, changing it from normal form to its single strike form. When we look at the back, we got the Excalibur DB core, the Xiphoid BU blade, the 1 armor, the Xanthus disc, and the sword dash driver. So most of the parts for this is new. The Xanthus disc and Excalibur core also introduced the burst lock system. So essentially, certain cores like Excalibur and the remodeled Belial 2 core from Divine features little tabs, right? And the disc, like Xanthus, also features small little tabs on the prongs. And these tabs are meant to click against one another, making the lock a lot tighter. Right there is showing its new ability, its special move, the Ultimate Impact. And here we got a little glimpse at the new customized power sword launcher. So without further ado, let's get this unboxing started. So the first thing I do want to cover is the power customized sword launcher. Essentially, they combine the sword launcher design that we've seen in previous generations with the customized feature of the DB launchers. So the actual sword part of the launcher acts as the core unit, and if you can't take the winder out if the gear unit isn't inside. This is the gear unit, the power gear unit that came with the power DB launcher from the Saber Valkyrie set. Black recolor, pretty cool. And once you have the gear unit inside, you can then pull the winder out. And then we just got a regular spin unit from any DB launcher. So this is the first Takara Tomy sword launcher I've actually owned. I have used Hasbro sword launchers before, but those have broken, unfortunately. I'm hoping this doesn't break too easily, because that would be very, very unfortunate. Of course, due to the waist design, you can change the parts around. So this is the bearing spin unit from the overdrive launcher. So if you want to give this launch a bit of extra power, you can. Which I'm actually going to stick with this bearing unit for it. It isn't the most powerful launcher. It's the most powerful Ripcord launcher, without a doubt. But with the normal spin unit, it only has a total of 8.5 rotations. So I would say I would round that up to 9 in total. Whereas the overdrive launcher, for example, has about 14. So it's not the most powerful launcher out there, unfortunately. But it's still cool to just have a remodeled version of the sword launcher for the last series of Beyblade Burst. Moving on to the actual combination. Here is the sword dash driver. Sword was the driver on Buster Excalibur. Now it has a dash form, so obviously it has the gold spring for a tighter spring lock. It features 3 metal points. The 2 swords on the side here, and then the metal tip that actually makes contact with the stadium floor. And it's also taller than a normal driver. Now, I'm not a fan of the sword driver just because sword does not have the good attack potential, isn't that aggressive, stamina's complete trash. And one thing I don't like about them using sword for this combination particularly is the fact that unlike previous Excaliburs where the actual metal sword of the driver aligns with the other swords of the combination when it's halfway to bursting, allowing for special moves to work, the impact techniques, like for example with Buster, the 5th impact. With this, that doesn't happen. It doesn't align with the blade's sword or with the disc sword, and I'm just questioning why even give it this driver instead of making like high iron dash or something if they wanted a metal tip. Because I assume they only give it sword just so the disc doesn't scrape. But again, they could have made high iron dash. I'd rather have that than sword. Here we got the Xanthus disc. So it's definitely a very unique DB disc, as it's like Magnum from a Xeno Excalibur, where it features red plastic. And on one side, you have this little spike here. And when you put the combination together, and after 2 clicks, the spike, the sword of the disc, will align with the sword of the blade, allowing for a stronger impact once it's halfway to bursting. So that's pretty much the staple gimmick that was introduced with Xcalibur, starting with Xeno. So that's definitely really cool. It also does feature the BU lock system. So if you look closely here on the prongs, there's a little tab on the disc here. And if we look closely at the Xcalibur core, there are also tabs like that. So when you assemble the combination together, these tabs are meant to click against each other, adding more friction, as a result increasing burst resistance. So from what I can tell, it does make contact with these tabs. The tabs do make contact with each other when the bay is fully assembled. So after its first click, that's when it will hit the tab. And yeah, interesting. So that's the BU lock system. In addition, another neat thing is that there have little extra prongs here and here. And you're meant to align this upright with the actual prongs of the driver. And when you fully assemble the combination, it's supposed to become a lot more sturdy compared to other DB bays, where if you would say like move the disc would like wiggle and wobble around quite a bit. Moving on to the parts for the layer, we got the one armor. As you can see, it has one little spike on this side right here. And if you look at the underside of it, this side is a lot more metal filled into it compared to this side. As you can see, it has this little hollow piece. So it does make the combination unbalanced. So it's pretty much just like the one disc, how the one disc would work, for example, for a Siege Xcalibur. Here we got the Xiphoid blade, which resembles Siege Excalibur's design very closely. It does feature these blue spikes that we saw in Buster Xcalibur, so that's pretty interesting. But this diamond shape is very good for attack, as it has 4 points of recoil, one of them being obviously the sword tip right here. Of course, don't let this metallic part fool you. That's just painted plastic. But yeah, that's the Xiphoid blade, and it's designed to maximize the potential of the core Xcalibur. So if you look at the underside, that's where the metal sword is. Let's take a look at the teeth for a bit. And once again, it features those two little prongs there. Those will interact with the tabs on the prongs of the disc, the Xanthus disc specifically, which activates the burst lock ability. In addition, like I said earlier, the remodeled Bellio 2 core that came with the Vine also features those little prongs. It's hard to see because it's translucent, but those are the prongs for the BU lock. Really do like the way the core looks. I love that as the cross swords designed to form the X, just like Xeno Xcalibur. And yeah, it's definitely really interesting. So Xcalibur is a Beyblade that does feature a gimmick that changes when it's in high mode. Due to the fact that the armor is now properly inside the layer, the metal sword does not pop out. So that's definitely interesting. I mean, I don't really use high mode like that anymore, but I just like the design the gimmicks to be like that. And here's the completed bay in low mode, Xiphoid Xcalibur, Xanthus Sword Dash 1. And like I said, after 2 clicks, that's when the metal sword can pop out. So this is its single strike mode. And in this state, the sword of the disc also aligns with the sword of the blade. And as a result, this allows it to perform its special technique, the ultimate impact. So that's it for my unboxing of Xiphoid Xcalibur Xanthus Sword -1. Hope y'all enjoyed. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And see you all next time for more Beyblade Burst unboxing.